work hard, do what you say, build with integrity, be humble, all of those things. But also know when you're being taken advantage of.
So today we're going to do kind of a fun thing because I posted
You're just getting straight to business.
Question. I am, because we've been trying to do that lately.
Okay, well,
you're going to get to
Go
hear
ahead.
Megaphone questions from a bunch of people that are friends on the LinkedIn
Well,
sphere.
what the crap does that mean, Eddie? What does that mean?
The Megaphone question is what we ask at the end of our episode. If we gave you a megaphone in 60 seconds to speak to the whole construction industry, what would you say? And I postured this question out on a LinkedIn post, and I said, hey, we might share these out. We might give you a shout out. And people answered.
Cool.
And so I'd like to follow through today. I'd like to share a few things from these folks. All right. I'm going to start with Mr. Tony, and I think it's Tony Buffoni.
Tony Buffoni?
Yeah. Maybe Tony Buffone. If it's not,
Tony, we love
Tony
you.
Buffoni would be amazing. But I'm sorry, I'm going to butcher names today.
If the middle name is so Tony the Buffoni.
No, it's
that
not.
could be a lot of fun. Anyway,
I haven't met Tony in person.
I haven't either, but I know exactly what you're talking about. I've always just said Buffone.
Buffone. Okay.
Like I said, Tony.
I think Tony's talking me in anyway.
Tony, we appreciate you, man. I'm sorry. Just I'm sorry. Anyway, continue.
Pre-apologies.
Pre-apologies.
And I hope we meet for real one day. And
definitely.
you introduce and say, this is my last name.
This is how you say it, you morons.
Yeah.
Okay.
So this is, we're going to start angsty. All right. So prompt payment is the single most important indicator that a GC or CM value and respect their contractor teams that actually build the buildings, without whom it would be impossible to satisfy their clients.
Okay.
So the GCs are relying on the subcontractors that are out there with tool in hand and material going up and are reliant. And then, so you want to show respect? Pay.
Yeah.
Pay on time. Don't choke them out.
I have so many thoughts on this. You know I do.
Yeah.
You know I do.
This was a good one.
Oh, this is a great one.
Really good start.
This is a great one because...
Thank you, Tony.
Thank you. This is the case that I didn't realize this. I didn't realize this until I started up a business that was a service-based thing.
Yep.
And I had to lay money on the line to go do the project and then get paid for it.
And wait.
And wait. And wait. And wait. And we lost your invoice. Yeah. Really? Are you freaking kidding me? We're already on a net 90. Are you serious? Really?
Yeah, so 6
net
months
130,
later. 6 months later.
Frick, man.
You get money. It can be a real rub.
For me, I'm like, how do contractors, like specialty contractors, stay in business without millions and lines of credit? They literally can't, is the answer.
They literally can't unless they're like already holding. And let's be honest, like we're all trying to build businesses.
Most of them aren't. Like you think about like this mom and pop shop or like this dude who like, he's a welder and he got this bright idea one day. He wants to go out and start a fabrication business or something. Like it is a really difficult path to start up a specialty contractor business with the financial model that we have in place. Now, here's the thing. The GC paying for what has been done, I agree with. That's fine. Like let's track with like the progress of the job. Pay quickly. But like, yeah, if we get the thing done, pay us for it.
Yeah.
Don't say, oh, you got the thing done. Now you got to wait 90 days and be a big pain in the crack about it because you are going to run your sub out of business and you're really going to be in a pickle.
Yeah.
Because then you're going to be bringing somebody else to the table to pick up the pieces where they left off. It keeps them motivated if you pay them on time. Big time.
So I'm going to say yes, all that. And I told you that got you.
That one irritates the snot out of me. And I think the financials, like the way we run our financials in construction has got to change. Because like literally the subcontractors,
they're financing
the whole freaking project and the GC's holding a noose around their neck.
They're like buying the material, they're paying their labor, there's so many things that they're doing and then they wait. So
irritates the snot out of me. Anyway, move on.
Seth Kalkman.
Good old Seth. I love him.
Love Seth.
Hey, great podcast, by the way. Constructive. Go check him out. He's awesome.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
So what if the key to winning in construction isn't the biggest machine, the latest tech, or even the smartest guy in the room? What if it's actually about enjoying yourself, even in difficult circumstances, and being the person that is the most enjoyable to be around? Put your client first. Be humble. Smile and listen. The real game changer. Hey, $1 in the jar, Seth. $1 in the jar. The real game changer in construction isn't about cutting corners or outsmarting your competitors. It's about trust, collaboration, and getting the job done with integrity. It turns out those qualities actually give you the edge when it comes to securing long-term success. Let's stop pretending we have to bulldoze over everybody to win. Be good people. Keep focus on the project, and you might just be surprised how far it takes you. The future isn't about dominating. It's about thriving together.
Preach.
Bro, I hear you.
That's why I say go check out the podcast. Dude's thoughtful, man. Like he's got it on lock.
Well written.
Oh, he's great. Dude.
Well written.
So good. And I think he's in a CM right now. So yeah. So
Yes.
like he's working alongside some people doing some bigger projects, and so he's got a lot of really cool insight. But yes, we're gonna win together. Rather than, and that's, the 7 principles that we kind of talked about not too long ago. It's think win-win.
Think win-win.
Think win-win. I've been working on that mindset myself, like that's an area you get to. It's like, I'm going to win. And like, I'm not really thinking about making other people win. I'm just thinking about my win instead of yours. And that's an area that I've had to work on. And I started flipping that script. Life has gotten a lot better since I started working on that.
Yeah.
So much better.
All right. So I'm going to keep us moving because we have a lot of these and they're good. I'm going to shout out Adam Williams, fellow steel detailer and somebody I've spoken with a couple of times. Yeah. So what up, Adam? Okay. So
how's
got a
your
two-parter?
Yeah.
Two-parter. Remember that we are all working on the same project. We may be on different teams, but we all have one goal. So let's work together and help each other out. I like it. Part 2.
Okay.
Remember your worth and don't let anybody take advantage of you.
Remember your worth.
Remember your worth. So as an employee,
yes,
as somebody who brings value to the table, know your worth. So
I was speaking to somebody the other day. I was DMing with them on LinkedIn, and that was a big one. Is like, hey, my boss gives me like a lot of pressure to like work late, to keep pushing, and like big expectations of me. And he's sitting here going like, I'm giving everything I can, but like there's no like bonus structure. There's no incentive for me to do this thing.
Yeah.
Right. And so I think that kind of comes back to that. It's like, know your worth. I can say this: work hard, do what you say, build with integrity, be humble, all of those things. But also know when you're being taken advantage of or being like taken for a ride. And I think that happens quite a bit. And you can pick up on it pretty quick too.
For sure.
So know your worth is important.
All right, you got Daniel Lopez coming in from over at Trimble.
Nice.
One of the main differences between manufacturing for construction and automotive or any more advanced manufacturing industry is that they are still always trying to improve daily practices and have a department of continuous improvement. In steel construction, companies believe that with a new machine or a new software, they will be more efficient and they could, but then they don't think that the workflows behind those matter.
Yeah.
Right. So
they keep the same workflow. They don't try to
little paraphrase there. We have to identify the weaknesses, plan how to solve them, execute the plan, review the results, then start again and again and again.
Yeah.
So continuous improvement. And it is interesting, like having automotive, which, all of the lean stuff comes out of.
Right.
That efficiency is born out of continuous improvement. We're never going to stop going back and reviewing the line
Mm-hmm.
and everything that happens.
Yeah, right.
All right, Alan Whittle,
Mhm.
which you may have seen Alan.
I think I've seen him a couple times. Yeah.
Architectural draftsman.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
drafts by hands. Like it's just
yeah. Dude, yeah.
Works amazing.
Super cool.
So shout out to you, Alan. It's really cool. I'm very much impressed by how you can take pen and paper and make something. So on that note, if you think that you have a problem or have a solution to a problem, don't be afraid to pick up a pen and sketch. Sketch a few lines on the back of a cigarette pack or whatever you have. That sketch can start to solve a problem before we look to a solution from digital technology. So sometimes you have, you grab the napkin, that napkin sketch, or I've heard it, toilet paper sketch or whatever, drawing through something.
Yep.
And thinking through it. I've done this. I have done this, like just sitting down, maybe with some graph paper. Every once in a while, I'll just grab a clipboard and some graph paper.
Oof. Love that stuff.
I'll grab a clipboard and whatever I have near me.
Yeah.
I'm not amazing. I'm not Alan.
Yeah.
But the ability to draw through something and think through it. There is something very tactile about that. I like that for journaling too. Like that's, something close to my heart.
Yeah,
I like pen to paper because it just engages the mind in a different way.
It does.
So
it does.
Very much taken.
That's how I have to study, by taking pen to paper, even if I don't even look at the notes ever again.
Yeah.
Like when I was studying for my FAA exam, I had to like sit there and just write it. And that's literally just like it connected back to my brain.
Yeah.
And when you're working through problems like workflows or like digital tech or anything like that, sometimes you have to take a step back to like just the basics and say like, all right, let me just get a pen and paper and sketch through this and see how this might work.
Yeah.
And there's something about that just shakes other ideas loose. Can I divert just for a second though? Because I'm hearing a couple things on the workflow and like how this has been something that I've been kind of playing with a lot. What do you think needs to happen? And if we're going digital transformation here, because this has been a big thought of mine over the past month or so. If we are to change our workflows, do we need to just wholesale change our workflow, come up with a new way of doing it, or do we need to work by understanding existing workflows and then tweak those workflows?
I like going back to the very, very beginning when we're building something new because
if I was to make this in a perfect world, this is the way it would work.
Yeah, it's like you end up with collected residue on like what you build.
Yeah.
And rather than just starting with if nothing existed, how would we do
it? Yeah.
And maybe getting a better tool out of that, and maybe even getting the same answer, but not having the preconceivs. I think it's important for us to remember as we're developing. So.
Yeah, I can definitely get with that. That's an area I keep kind of going back and forth on, because a lot of what I've been focusing on is like getting people the tools that they need to get the job done, but also like you have to step back and look high level and say, okay, how would this look if it was just nothing existed?
Right.
Like, I think there's a bit of a balancing act there, because I think there's definitely benefits to being aware of the existing tools and workflows that are in place long term. Because if you are able to understand how a stud wall goes together, it doesn't matter what workflow you use. You need to understand how a stud wall goes together. And if you're going to automate that, you have to at least have a basic understanding of what the steps might be. Right. And so my thinking is, in order to change the industry holistically, you have to come back and like look at each of those individual steps, and then you can push the accordion together. Right. Yeah. But again, like that's not a perfect answer to it. Anyway, like I said, diverting, but
we'll keep moving here. Perrin Olson. Your lack of differentiation on proposals and pursuits is why the industry is crippled by a low bid mentality. When every contractor looks and sounds the same, the only thing that is different is your price. Our job is to educate a prospective client why we're the safest bet. We need to arm selection committee members with ammo to fight for us. They need to be able to vouch for picking you to their boss, board, or constituents. In the end, our prospects need to be able to confidently say, we picked this construction company because of X, Y, and Z. Or their safest best bet is to say, we picked the cheapest option. In other words, if you don't like low bid, well then help people understand why it is better not to go with that low bid. Educate.
The value that you bring to the table.
Yeah, like
it's value-based pricing versus just like lowest, right?
I will say this, and I hope I'm capturing the heart of this.
Yeah.
Perrin, thanks for that.
Perrin's great, man.
Yeah, well, and I mean, I love how these megaphone questions, everybody's bringing something profound from their perspective, which happens on the show.
Yeah.
You know, everybody's kind of got a little different bend. And you get some commonality, but then sometimes you just get
a different twist on it.
I don't look at the world that way.
Yeah, right.
And so obviously, like looking at it from the standpoint of like, how do we win work?
Mm-hmm.
Something we all are trying to do. When I hear people say, oh, we're a value, we're a value, I think that's overdone.
Yeah, yeah. I can agree with that.
This is much different than just showing up and saying, well, no, we bring value. A lot of people say that and they just pump their numbers.
Mm-hmm.
No, what value do you bring and how do you bring it?
Yeah.
Define it. Define on your proposal. Like maybe, and even in the presentation of the proposal, making that presentation so heads and tails better than the people around you. There's no doubt, like you're showing more. And it's not the way you show it. It's what you say. It's the substance of your presentation, not the flash.
Yeah.
And I think if you're bringing substance and showing how that value is there, then you are making that easier.
It has to be
for people to be able to present.
Easily articulated though. And I think people have a hard time articulating why they're a value contractor or whatever it is, right? It is hard to articulate, but take the time to think through that. Like, who are the people that you have in place that bring value to the client? Like, what is their background? What is their resume? What context do they have?
Yeah, pulling off the ACOM stuff a little bit.
Right. Yeah. What context do these people
spoke to that?
That's an area that I don't think a lot of contractors will go into. They'll just say, we're value because of this piece of technology. Okay. Like, maybe, but like, I need better quantification than that. Not just because you say so.
You say your value.
That's the difference maker, is that if you say your value and you can show, like say your value, that's no good. Say that you are valuable, that's no good. If you can say it and then show it.
Show me your value.
That's it. That's where you got to be. Love it.
All right. So Thomas Atkinson, be aware, be responsible, and be accountable. You are training those who are coming behind you, your replacements, whether you know it or not, whether you want to know it or not. They're always watching. Treat it that way. Your credibility is measured by the influence you have, directly and indirectly. This could go for parenting, dude.
Yes, it could.
I mean, like, and that's one of the phrases that we've kicked around a lot, is that parenting is like, it's more caught than taught. Like what your kids take is more caught than taught.
Yeah.
And let's be honest, that's probably most of, like, it's not what you say, it's what you do.
Yes.
So you can say all these things about how we should treat each other well, but if you treat each other like dirt, doesn't matter.
Right.
What are you doing? How are you showing me?
Yeah.
I mean, this is a good word.
Yeah, this is a good word.
People are watching. Be accountable.
Yeah, I like that.
Be responsible.
I like that.
So good stuff. All right. Familiar name here.
Is this one going to get me fired up?
No.
Okay.
Hey, well, I don't know. Maybe ABSI alum here.
ABSI alum.
Mr. Ken Taylor.
Hey.
Hey, Ken.
KOT.
When talking trades, understand there's a significant amount of support staff, including accountants, project engineers, managers, drivers, coordinators, modelers, etc. Just because it's in construction doesn't mean it's outside. Construction has a lot of facets that make it all work. It isn't dull, and it is very, very rewarding, making a case for a career in construction.
I like it.
Yeah, I mean,
it's definitely not dull.
So
it's definitely not dull.
I get to go over and speak to FBLA for Austin Brown, our editor.
Yeah.
Our previous editor. And so Austin's a teacher now.
Yeah.
And it was good. Really, really fun time. We're down in the basement of Blackbird. There's like 25 students down there.
Yeah.
And I mean, bless them. They had one presentation after another. 30-minute presentation, like no gaps, no breaks. They were just like one business owner after another coming up and being like, this is my thing. And so I got to go in. That was one of my primary messages, is like what you are probably thinking of in construction, which was architect, engineer, or trades, like straight trades.
Digging a hole on the side of the road.
Hole,
yeah, right.
Plumbing, electrical, very, very obvious things. One of my big messages with construction technology was, there's a lot of jobs in construction that are there, there's good money in, that you might not be thinking of, that aren't architect or engineer. Those are great things. We need them. But what I'm telling you is like, hey, there are other things. And it took me back. We had the whole steel detailer thing. Like, what's a steel detailer?
Right.
And they were like, oh, you can clean cars. I had fun with that.
Yeah, right.
But
I used to, but not anymore.
I kind of get why people are calling themselves construction technologists now.
Yeah.
Because it's just kind of easier to be like, oh, it's construction, it's technology.
Yeah,
whatever.
right. Yeah.
Instead of BIM guy, which is also like,
what's that?
You're a huh?
Yeah, right.
So, yeah. All right. So I got kind of a lengthy one from Nick Heim.
Okay.
So this one has 4 main parts to it. I'll go with the 4 main parts: communication, respect, meritocracy, and technology. All right. On communication. Often the best way to do so, to communicate, is to pick up the phone to work through solutions, follow up by email, and or site visit if needed. Communication.
Yeah.
I know this is close to your heart. We were talking this week at the house about how the next generation coming up has a fear of phone calls.
Yeah.
Everything's got to be text. And I think that's something they're really going to need to have some help getting over, because communicating concisely over text, nothing wrong. Great need for being able to do that kind of thing.
Right.
You also need to be able to relate interpersonally in a way that's not just, text.
I feel like I'm going to be like the old guy here. You know what I mean? And I've heard this over the years of like, when a new piece of technology comes along, there's always that old guy going, oh, it's going to do this and this and this. It's going to brain rot. No. This is actually something I'm really worried about. Like I truly am, because everything is very text-based. And because we can't gather context, we can't gather emotional cues, anything like that from text without emojis.
Yeah.
And sometimes that doesn't convey everything that we're feeling. For example, how many times does somebody send you a funny thing on Instagram? You don't even laugh at it, but you're like, yeah, that's funny. And then you send back a laughing, crying emoji. Right? It's not, right, exactly. It's not a true statement of what you're actually feeling in that moment.
Well, this we know. I'm going to stick up, though. I'm going to stick up for my Gen Alpha, Gen Z.
Please do.
Compatriots. And this is probably being pushed.
I love how we flip the script here. It's like you're Gen X defending them, and I'm a millennial going like, oh crap, this is bad.
Well,
I love that.
Probably because I got kids that are a little older.
Yeah.
And I watch their behavior. And though I don't know why phone calls are a little scary.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's a thing.
Yeah.
Video calls are just a way of life.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, just talking to each other.
Okay, well, that's
on
better.
the video call.
That's better. Okay,
So
all right.
there may be some reframing that we need to
Interesting.
do. Like I've noticed too with some of the guys that we work with that like it took a minute when we were using Zoom and that my default was to call like to do a video call.
Yeah.
For our team, like that's the default. We do video calls.
Yeah.
I don't pick up the phone and talk to a teammate. A video call.
Yeah.
So we can kind of speak face to face. Video cameras on.
Yeah.
Because we can share a screen. Yeah. And we're probably talking in shop. And we got a thing in front of us.
Yeah.
I will say that seems to resonate with the kids.
That's interesting. Okay, I hadn't picked up on that. But
I'll
that makes me feel a little bit better because, what I'm worried about is more like the emotional and mental health component of that too.
Yeah.
Right? If it's all text-based, we're not getting context. We're worried that people are feeling a certain way, but they're not actually, right? There's a Key and Peele sketch on this I need to show you, and it's absolutely hilarious.
I have more to say, but I'll reserve it. Part 2, respect. It's cool how you can have some crazy PhD engineer nerd hashing things out with a skilled tradesperson in the field, and both can respect the skill set that the other brings.
Yeah.
I don't know of another industry where people from such different paths of education and probably backgrounds work together like that. And it really is cool.
Yeah,
I mean, when you see the iron worker and the engineer collaborating.
Yeah.
And
excited to collaborate.
Yeah. Like the engineer actually sees a skill set that they have curiosity about. Like they want to know.
Yeah.
Like they want to know like, oh, how do you do that thing? Because I'm telling you what to do.
It's respect.
But there are things that I don't know about what you do.
It's respect.
Yeah.
Right?
And then the engineer has this other side of the fence thing. It's I think, great thing to point out there. All right. So meritocracy. No one cares where you went to school or where you worked previously, what degrees you have, etc. Just that you can get the job done and be able to work with others. Now compare that to law, banking, finance, medicine. I'm glad that it is the way it is here. And I was like, yeah.
Yeah.
And that's making a case that construction is more of a meritocracy.
Right.
And I think there are facets of construction where degrees matter. And
for sure.
Things matter, but getting the job done and doing it well, like that's number one. So I like that.
Right.
All right, technology. I love it, but it is the people behind the sticks that make it work. So we shouldn't lose sight of the fact that people make tech and unite the industry.
Yep.
Yeah.
Mic drop.
Mic drop.
Love
Walk
it.
out. I was like, dude, that's pretty awesome.
You said it was Nick?
Yeah.
Nice.
Yes.
Love it.
I love this because like I'm getting some interaction. Like there are a lot of you we interact with on LinkedIn. It's fun hearing from you. Feel like it's kind of part of the family thing. And so very cool.
I love the pushback that we get too on stuff.
Yeah. I mean, shoot, I had a post this week that was about my premise that 7/8 bolts, were kind of being utilized and used because of like a metric rounding thing. And
did you get pushback on that?
A little.
Okay,
it was very fair.
Yeah.
And it was interesting too because it was kind of regional, right? So we're in the Southeast,
right? Yeah,
not heavy seismic.
Yeah.
So some of the guys that are less like in the West Coast, they're like, hey, 7/8 bolts are a little more common out here.
Really? Okay. All right.
So
interesting.
Eric Sobel, who we work with a lot,
right? Yeah,
was like, hey, there's some load cases where 7/8 and like having we would typically like 3/4 bolt, 1-inch bolt. He's like, well, 7/8, 1/8 inch it could make a difference. Like that could lead to favorable loading. I'm like, heard. Now, on the instance I was looking at, it really made me want to go back and do my homework on the table I posted because it was like 3 7/8 inch bolts and a W18, which if you know anything about it is like not many bolts for a W18.
Yeah.
And so it made me want to go back and look at the loading, like maybe just take the UDL or whatever. So there weren't any loads on the plan, unfortunately. wish. Okay, that's a different rant. But yeah, I mean, the case I would make is that many times when I see the 7/8 bolting, I see other things that also support the premise.
Yeah.
Right.
Right.
And we see a lot of projects in a year. So
it's standardization, I think, that we're ultimately after. And there is kind of an issue there of like, well, we have like the metric and imperial, and it's like that kind of conflicts against each other. I almost wish that we could just have across the board.
Well, and people have been saying that since 1950.
I know. I'm not.
But I would say that, regardless, somebody brought up, this is probably a fabricator preference. It is. I mean, like if a fabricator shows up and goes, we're set up to run 7/8 inch bolts, the engineer's probably not going to say, no, I don't want a larger bolt that works basically with the same plate setup.
Yes.
Where I can use a 3-inch spacing on 7/8.
Yeah.
Anyway,
whatever.
I could get very nerdy and deep into the weeds there.
White and nerdy.
Okay, Scott Hall. Never entertain a cost cut proposal. Change A, save X dollars without seeing the specified item cost for side-by-side comparison. In other words, like if somebody's like, I can save you some money.
Give me an itemized list.
Get a true side-by-side.
Interesting.
And never accept them without a full understanding of the change. So like do your homework.
Yeah.
And figure out what, like, and as an architect or somebody from an architectural background, that's got to be, like, everybody's got a better idea than what you spec when you design the building. And, like, it's death by a million billion cuts when all of the trades are coming at you. And, I could do this, not that unit, this unit, not that trim, this trim, not that countertop, this countertop.
I have a practical example of this.
Okay.
Practical example of this in daily life. Apple Maps. Okay. Sometimes when you hit traffic, it says, hey, here's an alternate route you could take. It'll save you 10 minutes if you take this alternate route. 9 times out of 10, it screws you.
You're like,
I should have just stayed in the freaking traffic.
Yeah.
Because everybody else got that notification and everybody else went there. Right. And so it hoses you. Sometimes it's easiest to just stay the course.
Yeah.
And just head down. All right, maybe. So good
understand
work.
What you're doing.
Understand what that means and the implications within.
All right. Aaron Andrews, your team matters the most. Invest the time, training, and money into them, and your company will accomplish everything that you set out to do. So, Aaron, good word.
Yeah, definitely.
I thought that was poignant.
Poignant? Poignant.
Lauren Sabella, shut your mouth when you're talking to me. Shut your dang mouth. We just try to...
Dadgum mouth.
Dadgum mouth.
Your dadgum mouth. Okay.
Shut your mouth when you're talking to me. It's pretty funny.
Did you get
for the funnies.
Did you get that one?
No, I didn't. All right, a couple more, and we're going to be at time. Stop asking for a 4-year degree from people wanting to be a superintendent. Did you get that?
Stop asking for a 4-year degree
for people that are on a field superintendent path.
Okay.
The field is already hurting enough for people.
Yeah.
There are plenty of qualified to semi-qualified people out there waiting for an opportunity that don't have 4-year degrees. Degrees don't make you field
degree.
Smart. Yeah, degrees don't make you field
matter.
Smart.
Doesn't freaking matter.
Okay, and that was Brad Doherty, Jonathan Porter. It matters other than basic life safety. There's no good, better, best. There are only options that each have their unique set of consequences, both desirable and undesirable.
Yeah.
So you're kind of working through all of those options. Andrew Coate, focus on the construction experience. Focus on elevating the experience for yourself and many counterparts, collaborators that we cross paths with, and the mutual clients who we serve. Shifting the focus to the experience helps to align, reinforce teams in every way. Carter Smith, 90% of the problems in construction are solved with communication and a willingness to listen.
Bingo.
Knowing when to be stern and when to be empathetic, yes, even aggressive is best. This is the construction industry. Is a massive asset that is underutilized. The other 10% is usually just scheduling, though. So, well done, Carter.
Nice.
I think that I'm going to draw that down and call that a wrap. A lot of commonality.
Yeah.
In the theme of how we treat each other, which is a continuous thing on
there's
the show.
commonality, but there's differences, and I love it. And whenever we ask the Megaphone question of any of our guests, like there's so much variety.
Yeah.
Like over the years that we've asked this question, there's so much variety. And I can't think of times where it's been exactly the same. Even if it's similar in ilk, it has a little bit of a different bend on it. And I'm always learning something from those questions, which I love.
Well, thanks guys for the contribution. We'll try to tag you up, and hope you.
We need to do it. Yeah. Keep an eye out. We might be asking some more questions, especially on the LinkedIn sphere. That's where most of our listener base hangs out anyway.
Have a lot of good things to say.
So if you got any other Megaphone answers to the Megaphone question, and you're watching on YouTube, go ahead and leave them in the comments down below, and we might read them out in the next couple episodes.
Right on.
Awesome. Hey, go build something awesome, guys. Catch you later.